I've been restoring the house built by my great-great-grandparents in 1911 for several years now. I have a lot of plaster work to do, and I can do it relatively quickly, but I keep getting sidetracked. Naps in the shade. I have to chase the dogs out of the strawberry patch several times a day.
Das ist der schlimmste Verrat von allen!
Don't worry, I wouldn't hurt this little teddy bear. Now get out of here. Then I have to fight off a rooster that wants to kill me. It's another wet week. The creek is running high, and I'm going to try to get some plaster work done. But don't worry, there are going to be plenty of interesting side quests. I want to do a lot of plaster work. So naturally, the first thing I want to do is go check on my chestnut trees. Last spring I ordered 10 American chestnut saplings. These are pure American chestnuts. I'm not going to deal with hybrids. My goal is to keep them alive for 6 or 7, maybe 8 years, and maybe I'll get some fence rails out of them. I'm not a nurseryman, so I'm kind of shooting off the hip. I'm going to plop them in the ground, and it's up to God and nature. I dread it, but I really need to get started on the plaster. In the 1970s, a very awful little bathroom was built in what was originally a hallway. After a lot of work on my part, it's a hallway again, but it still needs a ton of work, including extensive plaster work. I'll start out today by ripping out this nasty old 1970s drywall. As I rip out the drywall, I can see traces of the old plaster still in place. In my line of work, I end up with a lot of scrap lumber. Occasionally, I can save it from the burn pile and give it a second chance at life as Plaster Lath.
Hey, baby.
For spacing between the lath, the old plasterers used to say that all you needed was enough space to fit the tip of your thumb. And finally, I'm ready for plaster. But there's a serious problem. My sand is soaked. It's going to have to dry out for a while. While the sand dries out, I'll take care of another very important side quest. The woman buys way too many plants every year, and I absolutely hate gardening. I'm not a farmer, and I never will be. The sand is good and dry now, and ready to mix. For this first coat of plaster, I want a good 3-to-1 mix. 3 sand to 1 lime. better add some hair too. I generally use goat hair, but cattle hair is almost as good. First thing I do is spray the lath with water. If the plaster's too wet, this step turns into an absolute nightmare. If I do this properly, the plaster will flow between the lath and form a key on the back side. And just when I'm starting to get something done, I'm faced with another awful side quest. The girl went to Philadelphia last night and came back with an undesirable passenger. It looks like a round nail, but you can't be sure. If it's a square nail, then it's one of mine, and this was totally my fault. Let me get this empty box of piss water out of the way. I've been plugging tires since I was a kid. It's a useful skill to have, I guess. A little at a time. There. Test them. Good. Good. With that out of the way, I can focus on plaster again. I'm going to do a smaller patch this time. For smaller patches, I'll generally use a mix with slightly more lime in it. If the plaster sticks on the trowel like this, you've got a very good mix. That's not too bad. but I'll come back in the morning and see what else I need to do to it. It's May 29th. For most people, Memorial Day comes on a Monday. My Memorial Day always falls on May 29th. Possibly the worst day in the history of my mother's family. I visit my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, and my great-great-great-grandmother. They all lived together in one house, and now they're all buried together. On May 29th, 1944, my great-great-grandmother's only son, Harley Walker, was killed in action on Biak Island in the South Pacific. None of them ever recovered from this loss, and I still vaguely remember my great-great-grandmother. I remember being told very early not to mention anything about World War II in front of my great-great-grandmother. The flowers show the world that we still love them, but the prayers are for them. Well, it's not quite ready for a second coat. It's still damp, which is actually a very good thing. Traditional lime mortars and plasters cure by taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. We'll finish this wall up probably tonight or tomorrow morning. Every day ends about the same way for me. I have to walk up, get the eggs. Unfortunately, I have to fight a battle with a damn rooster that doesn't really like me that much. Sometimes I come out on top, but sometimes he kicks my ass. Literally. I'll concede the victory to him today. This little patch doesn't look too bad. I'll try to polish it, and that should be all right. The surface looks good, but it looks like a mess all around it. Right, my patch pretty well approximates the original finish. You know what? I'm going to do something very stupid on purpose. I'm going to make super wet plaster just to show you what happens. When the lime mortar or lime plaster is too wet, there are a couple of ways to deal with it. My favorite method is to put the wet plaster in a 5-gallon bucket. Eventually, the excess water will work its way to the surface and it'll evaporate, or I can drain it off. Oh no, my plaster is way too wet. What am I going to do? I can still put it up wet, but it's going to be a miserable time. I'll come back in about 2 or 3 hours, see how she looks. Out of 10 American chestnut trees I planted last spring, 9 are thriving pretty well. The 3 I planted in full sunlight are doing exceptionally well. One, however, failed to make it through the winter.